And that's how the theme song goes. Welcome back to the Constitutions Podcast. You didn't know this is your podcast for the website, cpluscomedy.com. It's a website. Go there. I'm your host, Chad White. This is it. Okay, so I'm going to be very, very frank. This thing, Adobe Audition, same issue I had last week's episode, it crashed on me again. Creative Cloud 2018 is not playing well or nicely right now with me, and it's really pissed me off, quite frankly. But you know what? We're going to get through it. We're going to get through these next 20 or so minutes. Hopefully hopefully this all works in the same way it should work. So please, Adobe Audition, don't crash on me. Please. So what you missed in the first two times that I tried to record this was that I talked about the royal we. Where that came from, and I found out that it came from its use of a plural pronoun or corresponding plural inflected verb forms to refer to a single person holding a high office, such as a sovereign monarch or a religious leader like the Pope. And then I also talked about that's when it crashed again the first time, and then the second time it crashed. Where I was trying to follow that recording on the same audio file. What was I talking about? I don't know. The second time I was talking about something. Oh, I was talking about effects. I was talking about how the different effects that I can do inside of Adobe Audition right now. I can talk on the telephone. I can do a telephone effect. I can do all these different effects. So I think that's really neat. That being said, if this thing crashes again, I cannot be held accountable for what I say. So I pray to God this thing works for me. Work for me, baby. Work for me. Okay, let's get with this. Let's get on. I just returned God of War to the Redbox. I did not get a chance to beat it as I thought I was going to be able to this weekend. I don't know why I thought that, because I had a full day of work for 2 days straight. And but anyway, God of War is the latest iteration in the new God of War series. It's the fourth of the main series. I think how many games are there? Let's see. I think that'd be a really good thing for me to look up right now, because, I want content, hashtag content for this hashtag podcast content for the podcast. Let's see. All right, let's see what series God of War. So this is the Wikipedia. It's a really fun game. I'll tell you about this as I'm looking things up. God of War, the 2018 version for the PS4 is really, really fun. It's him. He's older. He's got a son. His wife has just died, and now he's trying to they're going on a mission. They're going on a journey to A, find out why they were attacked at their home, and B, to scatter her ashes, the wife's ashes. And so you go out. A reviewer for whoever reviewed it for IGN, I think it was either IGN or GameSpot. Sorry, I knew what I was going to say. They likened it to Breath of the Wild, but for PS4, it's God of War. I can see that, but I don't. I mean, they're both about these strong characters, and they take place in the wilderness. But Breath of the Wild is, you can do anything, you can go anywhere, you can see in that entire game. God of War is a lot more linear. It's like it's Mass Effect with some Breath of the Wild elements. It's some RPG elements. Like you can not dress him up. You can add armor to Kratos. You can add runes and magic effects to his battle axe. He also has instead of those chains that he had on his wrists, which now he's covering up the markings with tape or cloth, that then they're very bloodied out, and I really like that detail. This game looks really nice, but I really like that detail where his forearms and wrists are covered up where his chains used to be. He used to fight with these long chains and throw cleavers. What were they at the end of those chains? But instead now he has an axe, and I think the axe is great. But I really, 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 I love the show so much. I'm so sorry. Unreal is playing right now on my television, and I don't need it to. It's recording. This is a season finale. I've been watching all season, so I'm trying to change the channel. No big deal. But anyway, I was talking about. But yeah, it's a lot more linear. You can do some stuff to it, but they're telling a story. Whereas for Breath of the Wild, you are your version of Link, and you can tackle anything in the way that you can. And you can also, like I said, you can go anywhere. And in this one, you're in God of War, you're just being led down a path, and you can revisit areas. It's like, they also likened it to the newest Tomb Raider reboot, and the Rise of the Tomb Raider, and the one before it. I don't know what it's called. Legend of the Tomb Raider. That's the first game. Tomb Raider Rises. Tomb Raider Begins. It's like Batman Begins, but for Tomb Raider. Anyway. But so they have but for the Tomb Raider games, again, that's a kind of a truncated version of Breath of the Wild. You can pretty much go anywhere in this forest and do all these things. I mean, even though it's still linear, they make it seem as if you can go anywhere in these forests and the mountains and the caves and the deserts and what have you. But for God of War, it's so far from what I had seen, and I only played maybe 4 to 5 hours, but it looks like you can go, you go down a path, and then you have a left, a straight, and a right, or a down, or an up, and that's pretty much it. So I don't know. I get that, it's very exciting to have this God of War thing, and to have it not be. Well, I mean, the first, all the other games, other 6 games, I believe there were, they're very pointed. They're very linear. So it's basically a side-scrolling game, or it's a beat 'em up with straight an A to B, A and B for the whatever it is for the game, A to B. So I mean, I get that this is a little bit more freedom, but it's kind of, you're really stretching it by comparing it to Breath of the Wild. But anyway, it's a really fun game, and I'm really enjoying myself. Now let's get to how many other games there were. So first era, Greek mythology. Second era, Norse. Oh, this game takes place in the Norse mythology. Norse mythology. What are the games? I just need a list of the games. I don't understand why you can't just give me a list of the games. How many games were there in the series? Wikipedia. It would just make sense. Okay. Well, they were on every PlayStation console, starting with the PS2. That's crazy. All right. In addition to the individual games, 2 collections featuring massive versions of God of War Collection and PSP. Nope. All right. So I know there are 3. So God of War, God of War 2, God of War 3 comprise a trilogy. And then there's Ascension, a prequel to the entire series. And then Chains of Olympus, Ghosts of Sparta for PSP, Betrayal for the, oh my gosh, there was a phone version of these games. Ew. Oh yeah, that looks disgusting. So that's God of War Betrayal, and then God of War 2018. I really like it. They said that they weren't going to do any DLC. Who was it? Who does this? Sony Santa Monica. They said they weren't going to do any DLC. Yeah, Santa Monica. So I mean, that sucks, but I mean, it is at max 25-hour game. And for me, that add on about 7 hours, because it takes me a very long time to finish games. Speaking of finishing games, I just finished Firewatch, and it's that game is love it or hate it kind of game. So I'll explain it. Firewatch is a game. Oh, good Lord. I clicked on the wrong thing. Firewatch is a game that it's one of those, it's a, first-person mystery adventure game is what Wikipedia tells me what it is. Those have become very popular within the past few years, so that's cool. They have like the something of Edith Finch. Let's All Go to the Rapture. Gone Home. I think Gone Home really sparked we can tell a story first-person mystery game and not have it be about killing. So essentially, what it is just. It's a point and click. It's a sophisticated point and click game, where you're playing the character and you're trying to figure out the mystery or solve whatever. That's what mysteries are. You figure it out and solve it. And so this particular one, Firewatch, takes place in 1989 and following the Yellowstone fires of 1988. I'm just reading what it was on Wikipedia. And you're playing a character named Henry, and he's played by old dude from what's it called? Jiminy Christmas, Mad Men, my favorite show of all time. No, it's one of my favorite shows. Not my favorite show of all time. What is his name? He was Harry Crane, and he plays a guy named Henry. His name is Rich Summer. I can't believe that's embarrassing. I listened to his what's it called? His board game podcast. I listen to everything he does. I watch everything he does. I feel bad. Anyway, so he goes to leave. He joins Firewatch to what a Firewatch is. It's he's a ranger. You're a ranger, and you go into a forest, and you have to live there for an entire summer. We spend 70, 80 days in there for the summer, and he goes there to escape his spoiler. This game is 4 years old, so 2 years old. It's 2 years old. I can't count. It's 2 years old. So if you didn't play it, then this is your fault. And it's only 5 hours long. So if you want to go play it. If you're still listening to this, and I guarantee 5 of you of the 20-something subscribers, 5 of you are, then you're lost. Anyway, so his name is Henry, and he joins Firewatch to escape. His wife is getting early onset Alzheimer's, I believe is what it is, and he goes there to escape. There's one other character, and her name is Delilah, and she is miles and miles and miles away in her tower. You guys communicate via walkie-talkie, and then you choose the dialogue options to when you have conversations with her. It's really cool. I really like it a lot. At some point, the story takes a turn into like a murder mystery, and then you eventually find out that this kid who was, I wouldn't say mentioned in passing, but given how I play, this is how I play video games. I buy a video game and then I play it like for one day for like 2 hours, just 2 hours. That's not a lot for a video game. Play for like 2 hours, and then so I get busy, and then I have to put it down for months and months at a time. For Firewatch, I really wanted to play his game. Ugh, should not. Boy, it got really hot. I really wanted to play his game so badly for the past, I would say, 2 years, ever since it came out. But I couldn't do it. And then I finally get the game. I buy it like, I would say like 2 or 3 months ago, and I'm slowly chipping away at it until this past Thursday when I finally beat it. But it's really sad how I play. That's a 5-hour game, and I could have beaten that in one sitting. Instead, I chose to piecemeal it out. I mean, I love withholding good things that happen to me. So anyway, so the kid dying essentially feels like it was maybe mentioned within the first hour, and so this kid's dead, and you find there's a point in the game very close to the end. Maybe you're 15 minutes away from the end, and the fires are creeping up on your Firewatch, your mountain pass, and you're about to be evacuated, but you decide to go in this cave one last time to see what's down there, and you find the body of a young boy, and he's been there for I think for an entire year. And there's a point where you're walking through the cave. This is a pretty cheery game, and until it gets to Alzheimer's and death and all that stuff, and then you get to this. When you see this thing, the game says figure, and I'm thinking, oh, it's it's a dog or something, and then it says body, and the music immediately switches, and the tone gets somber, and Henry goes, oh my gosh, oh Delilah, oh, well, you can't even tell her because you don't get radio signal down there. And you just hear the music swell up, and he goes, poor kid, your equipment broken. You fell down. And then you just see the body's laying there. You see the skeleton, and it's pretty eerie, pretty scary. And then you get up. Well, it's not scary, but, sad. Then you get back up, and you have to tell Delilah, who was basically this kid's, I don't want to say provider. I want to say not mentor, but she was his friend, and finding out he died just ruins her character for the rest of the game. Obviously Henry is a guy who's not really looking for love, but he falls in love with Delilah because he spends 70 some odd days talking to her straight, and he tells her about, you can not tell her about his wife, but I chose to tell her because I wanted to be straightforward because I'm trying to land Delilah, and I did not land her. I don't think you can. I think that's the story they want to tell, but I think it's really good. I thought it was a very fine game. Some people didn't like the story where it ended up, but whatever. You wanted there to be ghosts. It's not a game about ghosts. And that's the story of Firewatch. It is on every single console now. It's going to be on the Switch later this year, but I beat it on the PlayStation 4. Did I? Yeah, PlayStation. See, that's another issue of owning all the consoles. You don't know what you own where. Like I just rebought Skyrim. It was on sale for $20, so please, it's usually 40 or 60, one of those. But I'm not going to spend full price on a game I had on my 360. You know. There's going to be a movie about it in September 2016. It was announced that Campo Santo is partnering with production company Good Universe to adapt the game into a feature film. Well, I mean, now that I know the ending of the game. Oh, they did The Disaster Artist. They're partnering with Good Universe. Good Universe did, The House. I love The House. Oh, I've talked about it so much. I love it so much. The Disaster Artist, Blockers, Extinction, Ibiza. That's coming out on Netflix. Gillian Jacobs is in that game. That movie, or Gillian Jacobs, and Vanessa Bayer and Phoebe Robinson. Yeah, I love all three of those women. Phoebe was just on Comedy Bang Bang today, the day that I'm recording this. I can't wait. That's like, I don't watch a lot of things when they start streaming instantly, but Good Universe also did the Neighbors movies. Oh man, I really like that movie, those movies. And The Night Before. Oh my gosh. Good Universe is truly Good Universe. Okay, let's move on to the next thing. I just finished the movie Landline. Landline is a movie starring Jenny Slate, John Turturro, who else? Edie Falco, and oh my God, Jay Duplass, and a small child woman that I did not know. It's a woman named Abby Quinn. We're probably the same age. I just said small child woman. That movie was an indie film, of course, and it was released by Amazon. It was an Amazon movie, which is really cool. Amazon's got some good movies. I can't say that much about what's it called? That much about Netflix, but Amazon's got some good movies. Hulu, they produced one movie, I believe. I think it was that Beatles documentary from Ron Howard. They produced that, so good for them. But Landline is about it takes place in 1995. It's about this family who the younger daughter finds out that John Turturro is cheating on Edie Falco, and then that causes a rift inside the family, and then Jenny Slate cheats on her fiance, who is Jay Duplass, and then she ends up spending her time with her family and stuff like that. And one of the relationships works out and one of them doesn't. And it's a fine movie. It's very funny. It wasn't as sad as I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a sad movie. Gillian Robespierre directed that film. Or Gillian, I don't know. I'm sorry. She also did Obvious Child, which is the movie that Jenny Slate starred in, which is another fantastic film. It's about abortion. So if you have issues with that, then suck it up. Obvious Child is very fun, but yeah, I really like that movie, and it reminded me a lot of, obviously Lady Bird came out after it, but there's these female directed films that are not expertly written, that are written very well, that really stand out, as opposed to these other high profile comedies that don't really, like for Blockers. Who wrote Blockers? Oh, well, I can really remember everything that Kay Cannon did in the movie. She didn't write it, but she directed it. And I can remember everything that she did in the movie well. And then there's, something like, I don't know, American Pie. American Pie. I don't think American Pie will stand the test of time, but Blockers probably would. And I think this is what I've been thinking about for a very long time. A lot of the stuff in the early 2000s will not translate, not age well. I think a lot of stuff in the early 2000s, there's a lot of stuff in the 80s and 90s that can stand the test of time, but there's some stuff, there's a lot of stuff in the early 2000s that will just not, like music. There's a lot of music that will just not age well. 80s, I listen to 80s music. I can stand it today. 70s, I can stand 70s music. But I swear to God, you play some NSYNC or some Backstreet Boys, like the wrong song, it'll just ruin it. Also, there's a lot of Michael Jackson I can't listen to, because when you're young, when you're in elementary school and you're at like a school function, that's all they play is Michael Jackson. Like I couldn't listen to different band, Eye of the Tiger. I couldn't listen to Eye of the Tiger until I genuinely mean this. I could not listen to that song until after college, because Eye of the Tiger, you know, you're at these field days, you're at school in the gym and stuff, playing games and all with Jimmy Pardo, and all you hear is, that's a podcast reference that no one's gonna get, and all you hear is Eye of the Tiger, or a Beat It at a school dance. I can't do it. I cannot do it. There's a lot of Prince songs I can't listen to because that's all you hear. I mean, because they was just so not evergreen. They were just so innocent to play. I say that about those two guys. They were just so innocent to play at school functions, you know. And Eye of the Tiger is just so innocent. It's just it's a song you can just get pumped up to. And I have a Rocky playlist, and I can barely listen to it because of that song. It's still a lot of good stuff on there. But that's Landline. Jenny Slate, Edie Falco, Abby Quinn, John Turturro, Jay Duplass, Finn Wittrock. Oh, he was the guy that Jenny slept with, cheated on. What's in it? He was in La La Land. Yeah, he was Greg in La La Land. Oh, and Noah. He was in that movie Noah, which I've yet to see. I want to see Noah. It's that movie about the Bible. It's an epic biblical drama film with Russell Crowe. I have yet to see that. It's on IMAX. I'm not IMAX. Jiminy Christmas. I really will get paid a page. It's on FX every so often, and I miss it every single time. I've been trying to see that movie for 4 years now. And been watching. I don't care if it's good or bad. I just want to see it because I think it looks cool. And there, like the movie The Perfect Storm. I thought when I got that movie for free via signing up my what is it called? I got that movie for free by signing up my Ultraviolet. They don't do this anymore. Ultraviolet account, where you can, before they had Disney Movies Anywhere a couple of months ago, they had Ultraviolet, which was essentially with every Blu-ray you got or DVD, you could, you just get, that's how you get the digital copy of your movie. So I got that movie for free by hitting up my account, and I got Perfect Storm, and I'd never watched it. This is when I cared about reviews and stuff, and now I don't care. I'll watch anything. Like I want to see I Feel Pretty tomorrow. Hopefully, we'll see what happens. It's a 1:40 showing, and that movie's almost 2 hours. I don't want to drive in traffic at 4:00. It's a whole thing. Even though I live 5 minutes away from the theater. And it'll only be a $5. You know what? Maybe I'll see it. I hope I'm the only one in there. I was the only person in there for last week. What did I go see last week? Isle of Dogs. I was not the only person in there. I went to see Isle of Dogs, and there were like 50 people in there. No, there was a couple, a mom and her son, and then 2 other people. So that's 6 people plus me, so 7. And I walked in there just as the opening credits were going on. I got there so late, just as the credits were going on, and I almost sat next to this one guy and then I was like, nope. I got up and I moved up 1 row, and I like to sit on the exit aisle because I don't like to be near people. I don't want to sit in the middle. We don't have to sit in the middle. I don't want to hear people talking. And then halfway through the movie, this child. It's Tuesday. It's 1:30 on a Tuesday. This child needs to be in school. That child, it was some little fat kid. I'm gonna say that. Don't listen to this show. I can call him a little fat kid. Little fat kid was sitting there talking, asking, "What did the dog say?" Like, what language are they speaking? Oh, Jiminy Christmas. They cursed in that movie. That movie's PG-13. I would not take a child. That kid probably seemed like he was 3 or 4. So I would not have taken him. At most, he was 5. I would not have taken him, maybe 6. I would not have taken him to see that movie. I don't care if it's claymation or not. That being said, my children, if I ever do decide to have children, I will show them Back to the Future, The Dark Knight. I'm just reading things I have. Alien. I'll show them all that at an early age. Because I saw it at an early age, and I'm not screwed up. I mean, not partially. Not partially. Okay. Let's go on to this next thing I want to talk about. So I was doing my daily readings today. I was doing my daily readings today, and I was scrolling through the Atlantic trying to find, because I'm a smart boy, and I just want to want to be. Okay, I'm done. All right, I was doing my daily reading, and I actually I stopped saying daily reading, and I found this article on the Atlantic. I love the Atlantic. It's a great website. It feels like a sophisticated version of Vice. It really does, because they have these sensational headlines just as Vice does, but every single article is so smartly written, versus where Vice is, they curse and stuff in there. And I just think that there's a level of not authenticity. What's the word I'm looking for? Is it authenticity? There's a level of professionalism that should come with you being one of the biggest news outlets in the world. I wouldn't want to see a curse word on if it out of context. I wouldn't want to see an out of place. I'm sorry. I wouldn't want to see an out of place curse word on the New York Times or Wall Street Journal. I mean, if it can help the story, then I'm all for it. But if it doesn't, don't do it. I hate to quote Bill Cosby. Actually, I think Seinfeld. Whoa! Oh my God! Did Google just activate? Okay, it did. I just heard my phone. Anyway. I hate to quote Bill Cosby, but I'm pretty sure Jerry Seinfeld did this as well, and I believe Nate Bargatze, and I think even Mike Birbiglia. If they find, I started off this example with Bill Cosby, so I don't really feel, I don't feel like I have any credibility here, but they found that if you can say your joke without cursing, if you can do a joke in your set without cursing, then take out the curse word. If you have a curse word in there and it's funny, even without the curse word, take out the curse word. I'm butchering it, but that's usually how it goes. Anyway, let me do this so I can hang up and stop this stupid show. So there's an article called "When Beauty is a Troll," written by Megan Garber. Her subhead is "The peppy mixed messaging of I Feel Pretty is only the latest reminder American culture doesn't fully know what it's talking about when it talks about attractiveness." So I Feel Pretty. Amy Schumer is a woman who hits her head when she's in cycling class, and she wakes up and she believes she's skinny and she's beautiful, versus, how she's not skinny and beautiful. Anyway, but in the article, Megan is talking about, she starts it off with an example about Fat Monica from Friends, how she's different from regular Monica. Fat Monica is a little bit more chipper. She does awkward movements, quick, jerky, awkward movements. Her voice is higher. She giggles a lot uncomfortably and all that stuff. But then regular Monica is type A. She's very assertive and all this stuff, and then she goes on to talk about how there's all these versions of these fat characters, or quote unquote fat loser characters that are just that don't know how to be themselves until they get America's version of pretty. And it's a decent article that really does toe the line between what we believe is pretty and what is actually pretty. She doesn't really state what is actually pretty, because no one knows what that is, because we still don't know, because no one knows. But there's a lot of language in the article, especially when it gets to talking about Shallow Hal, which I Feel Pretty really mimics in terms of thesis. What she's saying is, that the movie is shallow. It's not putting out a good message for people who don't believe that they think that they're pretty. I'm really ruining this. You guys should really read this. All three of you that are still listening to this. But one of her things that she writes is, but film is a visual medium, and I Feel Pretty can't find a way in the end, nor does it seem, for all its ambitions, to have looked terribly hard to offer a critique of the impossible beauty standards that doesn't also capitulate to the impossible beauty standards. So, essentially what she's saying is that you can't escape, Friends ended all that long ago, but the idea of Fat Monica remains, that the ugly friend, Fat Schmidt on New Girl, American Housewife. This is really, I throughout the entire article, I kind of wavered back and forth on agreeing and disagreeing with her, but like an American Housewife, the first episode, Katie Mixon's character, all she did was make, jokes about herself. And I mean, not all she did, but that's what the script seemed like. And that's how I reviewed it as well. But then you have something like Master of None, when Dev and Rachel engage in a joking discussion about the most polite thing to call a fat person, stuff like that. But so, or How I Met Your Mother, when Barney was put in a fat suit for however long, whenever Robin broke up with him. So all that article is saying is that it's difficult that America still doesn't know how to talk about beauty standards and why there should be beauty standards or why there shouldn't be beauty standards, and how I Feel Pretty kind of deteriorates the argument of we should always feel pretty no matter what, because it's yeah, that's all I got. I'm tired. So tired. Very long weekend. Very long. I got things to do, like watch I Zombie. All right. That's all the news I got for you. That's all the news I got for you. Okay. So guess what? This is the end of the podcast. If you like this, you can always go to the website, cpluscomedy.com, where we got the latest news, reviews, features, interviews, and other good comedy bits. Well, you know what? I haven't done a lot of that stuff, but a lot of good news, reviews, features, interviews, and all the good comedy bits I can provide you with. You can follow us on Twitter at cpluscomedy. Follow me on Twitter at @BlackWhite. Like us on Facebook. We'll go to the webpage, youtube.com/cpluscomedy. And guess what? There's a new episode of News Time this week. News Time is a premiere TV show on youtube.com/cpluscomedy. It is, it's great. I like it a lot. And this week's episode is about, I'm sorry, I was reading a tweet. I'm going to be really honest. This week's episode is about TRL coming back, and MTV they rebooted TRL this past fall. It didn't work out too well. They put that one on hiatus. Then they said, all right, we'll bring it back in the summer. Don't worry. Then a couple of weeks ago, they said, just kidding. We're bringing it back this month. And we're also going to split it up 3 ways. So they have an AM version, a morning show, an afternoon show, and a late night show. The morning show, I assume, is going to be like the Today Show, but MTV-ized. And then the late night version is obviously going to be like a late night show. And then the afternoon version is still the afternoon show. But they have all these new co-anchors and correspondents, and they're all young kids that I don't know, but these kids have like 5-10 million followers, and that's amazing. That's insane. I don't even know these people, but that's incredible. So they got it's all that stuff. It's great. And so I just explained how they decided to bring it back, and not why. I don't know why they decided to bring it back, but anyway. Okay. So there we go. That's all. That's it. Watch it.